Want to achieve network marketing success? Then you're in the right company. Hello, and welcome to Leave Nothing to Chance, hosted by networking marketing giant John Solleder. Learn everything you need to know about the network marketing space from somebody who's actually done it. Join us every week for front row seats as we feature some of the finest and most successful personalities in network marketing. Leave nothing to chance. Join us now.
Well, it is my pleasure to welcome to Leaving Nothing to Chance a new friend all the way over in the United Kingdom, and that's Mr. James Taylor. And James, I just figured we'll start at the top. How many times have you been asked to sing Fire and Rain?
So many times, John. So many times. Literally I think every person over a particular age has asked me that the second they looked at me. I've had it at passport stops. I've had it in Army cadets. I've had it in pretty much and teachers as well. They've always been like, "Oh, can you whack out a bit of Fire and Rain?" No, I can't sing, and you definitely don't want me to.
Well, I'm dating myself here, James. But back when I was in high school, James Taylor put on a concert in Central Park in New York City, where I lived in New Jersey at the time, and it was
You're welcome.
Over a million. Yeah, you were great, by the way. And I'm glad your hair grew back because you didn't have any hair back then.
It's amazing. Minoxidil.
Incredible. Good nutrition. But yeah, it was over 1 million people. I think it was the largest outdoor concert ever, which, post COVID, I don't think they'd ever allow anything that big again. But it was a lot of fun. Anyway, so let's get into this, James Taylor. And James, you are the founder and developer of Powleads, which is and if people want to look at that, by the way, it's powleads.com, POWleads.com. And that's a marketing automation company. And just for those of us that are a little older and a little less internet savvy, James, explain what a marketing automation company does.
So back in the day, there used to be you used to have multiple different people following up on emails and checking to see if someone's opened a message or something like that, and then taking that person, going to find them on Facebook and trying to follow them on there. Automation is essentially trying to connect all of the dots together. So connecting lots of different services all together in order for things to become a bit more automated. So when a client comes in at top of funnel, so they come onto your website, fill out a form, it goes into the system and sends them an email. And if you collect their SMS and their phone or their WhatsApp, then it can send them a text, and it can all be done over a period of days or weeks or months or years. And that's essentially how kind of automation works. It's just connecting lots of different things together so you don't have to worry about it too much.
So what it kind of does too is builds like an equity bank of, okay, so-and-so contacted me. Maybe I didn't do business with them for whatever reason. Maybe I can never contact them back, but it collects that data that they can then hold on to.
Yeah, exactly. So say if you went on to a meeting and they didn't turn up to the meeting. So you booked a meeting, they didn't turn up. You can just drag and drop them in the CMS and drop them into a little section, and it will basically send them an email to quickly rebook them. If the meeting went really well, then you can drag and drop them into a follow-up and send them there, or you can drag and drop them into proposals and then it will send them a proposal. So it's these things that instead of you having to like note down, I've got to do this, it just automates everything. So it's all very smooth and professional.
So you have a free course that I intend to take. I was looking at it last night, and I'd love for you to talk about that. And what that course is on, folks, is on content creation. And what is we as small business owners constantly want to do is constantly have something new that we can send to people, something relevant. And James's course, I believe, can help us all to do that. So elaborate on the course, James. How do they get it? Where do they go for it? Whatever you want to share.
Yeah. So Powleads is the funnel building section, right? It's when someone actually comes to your page, fills out the form, and then you've kind of got to nurture them. It's a nurturing system. But I realized that a lot of people don't really know how to build a personal brand and start bringing people to the page where everything can happen. There's no point in nurturing. There's no way of nurturing someone if they're not already in your funnel. So content is the way is kind of king at the moment. And this whole course is about using AI in particular to automate again, as I love automation. I think it might be I'm just a bit lazy and I just find out ways to automate things quickly. So my system is actually combining AI and virtual assistants or people that don't necessarily have the skills in editing. And what we do is you can go and find one of these people, give them this course, which it has the training inside to give the VA knowledge to be able to edit and use this system and use ChatGPT and AI. So it's essentially it's a course to improve your content and automate it a little bit better using AI and your knowledge as well.
And that's something that I think anybody in business today, whether you're selling, automobiles, insurance, nutritional products, skincare products, you name it, anything. I think that's something we all need to learn to do better. And the people who are already doing it well are doing really well as a result, despite, all the economic, negatives that are in the economies today. So I think it's vitally important. How do they get that? You just want to give the email address again, and how do they get that?
It's if you go on powleads.com, right at the top it says free courses, and under there it's called the Content Alchemist. So it's a free course. And literally you just put in your email, and that will give you access to a video, a bunch of videos to show you exactly step by step how to do everything. But it also gives you a PDF guide. So just in case you don't want to, look at listen to my voice talking about all of it, you can just go through the guide. And there's even an AI bot inside of there so that you can just ask it questions about the topic, and it will answer questions based on what's in the course.
So let me ask you this, James, just a side note with AI. I grew up at a time where we didn't even have cell phones. But I remember, for example, the first fax machine that I bought, this was probably in about 1991 or two. I got my first fax and I said, how in the world did I ever live without this thing? And then a few years later, cell phones come out, and same thing. How once again how did I live without this thing? And then of course, laptops and everything else. And now, of course, with AI, the next generation, all of the things I just mentioned are probably going.
Okay, I think I got you back. I'm not sure what's happened.
Did you hear my question there?
No, I didn't. I got to fax machine and then it cut out.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I think you have to press record again.
I'm good. Yeah, it kept recording. I should be able to get this edited. Yeah, because we'll have. Yeah. Okay. We're unless you just want to restart. We can restart if you want. It's up to you.
Can we? I don't know. What's easier for you?
Yeah, let's restart. I'm good till 11:30 my time, so I got an hour and 15 minutes. Are you pressed for time?
No, I'm free for the rest of the day.
All right, so let's do this. Let me stop the recording.
Okay.
All right, and then we'll just. Well, hello everybody. Another episode of Leaving Nothing to Chance. New friend of mine, major technologist, amongst other things, the great James Taylor. And James, I have to just ask the question: how many times have you been asked to sing Fire and Rain?
So many times. It's uncountable. I think since a teenager, I have been asked about James Taylor. They always they will look at my passport or something like that, or look at the name on the list as my teachers, and then they'll just be like, "Oh, James Taylor, can you sing for us? Can you sing Fire and Rain?" No, I can't sing. I sound like a cat falling down the stairs singing, so I can't do that.
Biggest concert I was ever to was, I think it was in 1978 or 79 in New York City, Central Park, had over 1 million people at it for James Taylor. And it was the biggest concert. Biggest concert ever. And you were glad your hair grew back.
Yeah, I'm glad. It's rosemary oil.
and you look great for almost 80, by the way.
I know. It's coconut butter. It's a secret.
All right. Well, now we'll get serious, folks. Most of you, I'm sure, know who James Taylor is. My audience is older folks for the most part, so they all know the great James Taylor. I had to tell my wife, though, who's French Canadian, who he was, and of course, she knew the song "Fire and Rain" like everybody does. So, anyway, yeah. and he was married to Carly Simon at one time. Anyhow, all that aside. All right, so let's talk about Powleads. You were the founder of Powleads, which is POWleads.com. And that's a marketing automation company located in the United Kingdom, but like everything in IT, operates all over the world.
Oh, yes.
Tell us what a marketing automation company does.
Yeah, sure. So essentially, it's a nurturing program. It's what happens after someone types in their email or their phone number into a form, and it's to automate those things that used to take forever. So those things that used to take hours and hours. So after a call or something like that, you'd have to manually send an email. You'd have to have another person or multiple people to kind of figure out all the follow-ups and timings and everything like that. So an automation software is essentially taking away all of that and allowing you to kind of click a button or drag and drop someone in the CMS, which is content management system. So you can just drag someone, say if you've just had a booking or a meeting and it went really well, you can drag and drop them into a follow-up, and then the system will send them a follow-up and then send them into your newsletter. So then they get all of your newsletters, and can even do things like take someone who has bought something of yours and add them to a Facebook pixel, which is telling Facebook to that person has bought from you, and that means that then you don't have to retarget them on ads and waste your money. So there's absolutely loads of different things that you can do with an automation software, but essentially it's the lazy part of having a business. It's just it's enabling you to have less people that work for you and letting you kind of concentrate on the more important things.
Interesting. And of course, it allows you to use, a funnel, basically, whatever kind of sales funnel you're using. So all these people become permanent data unless they choose to opt out and say, never bother me again.
Yeah, exactly. And that's happening. So the whole opt-out thing is a big thing that's coming out in February, I do believe. So watch out, everyone, for your emails. If you're doing cold emails, Google it. Google and Yahoo are cracking down on that. So it's important to kind of, if you have a list of people, to be sending them really good, useful, valuable content and data and newsletters and things like that are actually valuable to them, not continuously selling. I think it was Alex Hormozy or someone else who said it's called jab, jab, hook. And essentially it's trying to give value 95% of the time and only selling 5% of the time, which is incredibly important. So that's where the whole nurturing your list is incredibly important, and having an automated system to do that is really important as well. So if you're finding that, for example, you're sending loads of newsletters and nobody's opening them, maybe stop sending emails to them and clean up your email list through that. And if they are opening and clicking and everything, then you can go down. You can use the automation system to go down a whole new route and maybe market or push a different sales tactic.
Now, you're offering for our listeners and whoever else for that matter, but our listeners, a free course on content creation. And I started playing with it last night a little bit. This is great. Of course, everybody like myself or yourself for that matter, that are self-employed, what do we need to be? We need to be good promoters of us as well as our business, because people buy from people generally. So they want to identify, hey, that's so-and-so's product or so-and-so's company. And for our listeners, this is really, really valuable information, James. So I appreciate you offering it. You want to talk about it a little bit, the course itself and how they can get it?
Yeah, sure. So I made it because I've already got Powleads, so that's when people come into your funnel and they're all being nurtured and everything. But in order to nurture well, you need to have good content, and you need to send them valuable content. And in order to get them to begin with, get them and make yourself as a personal brand, you need to start making this frequent, and that's the key word there, frequent, like daily, every other day video content, which is incredibly difficult to do, right? It's very I went to university and studied video production, so even back then, which wasn't too long ago, it was about 8 years ago or something. Back then it was quite hard to edit. Now it's becoming easier and easier to edit, and that's where AI comes in. So creating these images and creating this content, you used to need a lot of people. So you used to need to have a whole agency to run create your blogs, create your social media content, and most importantly, to create your videos. Nowadays, you can use AI to do 95% of the work, 90% of the work, I'd say, and then give all of that information to, say, an editor that doesn't need to be as skilled as someone like me who's gone to university and done it for like 5 years. It can be given to someone that that needs only very basic editing skills. So I made the course in order to kind of help people to use this AI, to use ChatGPT and other AI software in order to make all of this content in one go, but also the opportunity to, if you have a VA, which is a big thing that's kind of decreasing now that we have all of these automation systems and AI. There's a lot of virtual assistants that they only have the skills that AI is now taking over. So I've started training virtual assistants to use AI programs and edit videos and help people to create content. However, you can use the course very easily to kind of just follow along, learn how to use all the AI yourself, create everything, create a little management system, and even where to go and find things that are trending in your niche. So that's one of the things that a lot of people, I think, in almost every industry, trying to go and find things that are actually trending, like blogs and content and everything. That's a really big thing that people miss out on. And hopefully this course solves that problem.
Would you say too that this helps to get you organized, a course like this, in terms of your contact capital, the people that you're dealing with on the internet most of the time that are total strangers? Some might be Facebook friends, some might be real friends. There's a difference, as I think we both know. I got 4,000 Facebook friends. I got about 5 real friends, like that I can name, I can tell you their phone numbers, but I think that's most of us, right? I mean, as we move through life, I mean, there's so many different activities that one is involved with where, here's a community of people, here's a community of people. You don't really know them. You just have a common interest in whatever it happens to be. So it helps kind of get all that stuff organized, I would say, too, and just kind of get it off your desk and get it into the computer.
Yeah, I think it's also confidence. So it also builds your confidence. If you get in front of the camera and speak for 60 seconds using a script that's already in front of you, that's already written and everything in your voice, and you just read the script out, it gets you so used to being able to do something like what you do, John. You're confident on camera, you're confident with your speaking and your tone and how fast you speak and everything like that. So that therefore makes you a very good presenter and a person that can get in front of camera and quickly record. These 60-second videos not only give you the opportunity to get in front of an audience, but also teaches you how to get used to presenting and being in front of camera, and then you can move on to doing things like long form content. So the long 10-minute videos where you're really solving a problem. The 60-second videos are just to get you used to being in front of camera, and definitely to get in front of a new audience, and for them to understand you and see your face and connect that your face and your voice to a brand, your personal brand, you. So it's definitely a very important thing to get going. It's just the confidence to get started is the problem, which I'm hoping this kind of course will help people get over that hurdle.
And they can get that just going to powleads.com. They can get the course. And something I'm going to take, folks. I was looking at it last night. I had a couple of meetings after I was looking at it, so I didn't get a chance to do it. But it's something I'm going to be certainly applying myself, James. So thank you for offering that to our listeners. And folks, just kind of a segue here on that, okay? We all need to become better marketers, whatever company you're with. All right. If you're in network marketing, or some of my listeners are in the insurance industry, I know, and some are even in some other industries. And some of you are part-time in network marketing and you have traditional sales or marketing type of jobs. Self-promotion is the best promotion. And I don't mean that from an egotistical standpoint, and James doesn't either. What we mean is it's like, let them identify you, because people generally buy from you. They like you enough where they go, hey, I got something in common with that guy or that gal or that couple, even if you're doing this as a couple. And all of a sudden, what is that product that they're selling? What is that, www.xyz brand that they're representing that gets them into action to say, okay, I like this person. Now let me find out what this stuff that they really are selling is and whether or not I want to spend my hard-earned money on it. So very, very valuable for all of us that are small business owners, which we all are generally listening to this call. To do the kind of things that James is suggesting. So, James, follow-up question to that. These marketing videos, can you give some tips? Like you said, 60 seconds. Give an idea of content or background maybe, and, kind of what works. What's the best?
So if you go and use a really great app called feedly.com, I think it's like $8 a month or something to get the AI version. If you go on there, you can then use the AI to type in your niche and everything, and start following things that you're interested in. Whatever you're interested in, and you think your network will also be interested in, have a follow, and then that will every single day give you topics to talk about. You can also use something like answerthepublic.com and go on there, and you can literally type in a niche or whatever, and it will come up with a bunch of questions that have been typed into Google recently. That's going to give you loads of really interesting stuff to make content about. You can also go on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and follow your competition and see what they're all doing. If there's someone that is particularly really very good in your area and everything, you can actually take the YouTube link, get the transcript, and then get bullet points very quickly about what they're talking about. And then you can develop that into a script by, again, using ChatGPT, and then write a 60-second script. All you have to remember is that 160 words equals 60 seconds of video. And try and talk slowly. Try and don't stare at the screen and read off the screen. If you want to use a teleprompter, put the camera far back so that they can't see your eyes moving. And you can also use lots of different other tools out there. So there's loads of AI tools to improve, to make your videos better. One of the easiest video editors on the planet at the moment is CapCut and Capwing, and they will do things like automatically cut out all repeated words and gaps and things like that. So it's really good to go down that route of starting with 60-second fast, high value information, and then get used to doing that. Start getting used to making 2 or 3 a week, then go to daily and try and so with a system that I set up, I can click click a button on Feedly, and it will send me a script and everything. I do that once a week for about 10 minutes, or even just like on the train or something. I'd go on Feedly, click on some stuff, get all the scripts, then I'd rewrite them. It will probably take me about 30 minutes to rewrite 7 or so scripts. Then I pick a day and block I kind of block record everything all in one go. So I end up only working on these videos for around an hour or something a week, and then I hand it off to my VA to edit in a particular style that I've already shown them, which again is all in the course. And there's a training guide that you can give to the VA as well, with all training in it, if you wanted to do it that way. And I'm not sure. There's a lot of, so there's certain things that you can, again, inside the course, I've got prompts that allow you to write these scripts really easily. So the scripts would be things like opening the first question that comes out is a viral line, so which changes all the time. So if you go on TikTok and you type in business or MLM into TikTok, you'll find lots of people that starts their videos with something like a question, or, hey, this is what I found out today, this is this. And they always change. It's very dynamic. So you can kind of like play about with the first line, and then you can have a sign off, but you just got to remember to try and solve the problem that you're in 60 seconds. That's the hard bit. So that's the, I'm not sure what else. What is there anything else I can?
Well, I think you're saying something that's very key. There is the fact that 60 seconds. There was a time when you watched a half-hour sitcom, and there was about 8 or 9 minutes of television commercials in there, right? So really, people's attention span maybe was about 20 minutes. That was probably in the 90s, let's say. With all of this internet technology now, if you don't have them in 60 seconds, they're gone.
Oh, I think it's under that. It's 5 seconds. Wow. And even with scrolling, it's 0.5 seconds, because that's how long it takes to move your thumb most times. So if you don't get them instantly, and make sure you use subtitles, because again, that's the thing now. So subtitles right there and then. I think it's just like a lot of people, having a kind of attention deficit disorder. It's almost like they're always jumping around, and they need something flashy to go on their screen, because they're in zombie mode at the moment. They're in scroll mode. So it's quite difficult, but sometimes following the trends can actually make it obvious that you're about to sell something to someone. So you really have to think about that jab hook thing, so that you are trying to give value, not sell them anything. Like, do not at the end of every single video that you make try and give a call to action to go on somewhere. Sometimes it's just about a person learning something, and then they're going to see your stuff again and again and again. So just teach them, be a teacher, and give value. And eventually, if you do things correctly, like offering free courses and free PDFs and something of value, I think in your guys' cases, you could probably use something like formwise.ai to create an AI tool. So your clients can go on, fill out a form, and it will give them something that's unique to them, a custom. So that's a really good, what we call in marketing, a lead magnet. So that could be a really good tip for you guys in MLM. So it's an interesting industry.
Well, it is, and it's growing. And it's funny. When I grew up, of course, we didn't have cell phones. First cell phone I ever bought, I was living in Montreal, and the first cell phone I ever bought was the size of a walkie-talkie. Nice. And you carried this thing by a handle down the street here. A lot of people can say you carried it by a handle, and you looked important because you had one and nobody else did. and the cell phone rates were, I think it was like $3 a minute. So you never actually called anybody on it, but you had one. You looked important. And anyway, and of course, today it's like, these things are, they cost nothing, and they cost something, but the technology is amazing. But the next generation, the generation that's maybe in school now that are, I don't know, 14, 15-year-old kids, their generation is going to be driven by AI. Now, you grew up on the internet, you grew up with the cell phone, you grew up with the latest, greatest technologies. But how do you see that next generation using AI as far as business startups, job creations, using it, for good purposes? Well, how do you see that kind of morphing as we go down the road?
So we'll probably, most likely, we're going to be going away from our mobile phones and into things like AR, so augmented reality. So that's using things like your glasses, for example, as we're wearing glasses here. They'll have little cameras in there, and it will basically put a display over the top, and then use the same things as what we do in virtual reality systems. So they'll get down smaller, and then the things that you look at, and even the recordings of what you do every single day, that will be continuously recorded and then put into an AI system, and that should improve your productivity. Remembering things that happen throughout the day, kind of almost again automating your day and your plan. So, and in that kind of world, you're going to have a whole different area of ads. So ads can pop up in different areas. You could walk past a billboard and it will start moving. And that's going through like these AR glasses that are in development at the moment. But I think what's going to be happening more and more, particularly for younger people, there was an article that was just out about how younger people are actually using AI more as an alternative to talking to real people. So there's a website whereby you can go on and you can talk to Einstein and learn about physics, or you can talk to Alex Hormozy or something like that and talk about marketing, or it could listen, or you could make something. You could, all of your podcasts that you've got, you could have that all uploaded, and then have a bot that all of your audience could talk to give them advice from everyone who's been on your podcast. So that could be a whole character that they'll do. And then further into the future, it could be things like an actual avatar of yourself. And they actually talk to that using all of the data points that you've already, and all of the information you've already put out of that. So that's probably going to be the future, is more AI avatars and more conversations with AI in order to solve problems quickly, instead of instead of actually talking to people, which is a bit of a shame. But I do think that's slightly better than what we have now, whereby we have a lot of texts, and nobody, if someone is talking to you, so say your audience, for example, comments on your video that comes up, you don't really know their face, who they are, or they could be a troll. In AR or VR world, you actually see them there and then. They can come and like, we could be on a virtual reality stage and talking, and people, avatars would actually come and join and come and talk. That's already around. That's called Horizon by Facebook. So that's already there, but I think that's going to get even bigger and bigger. So this kind of, and if you combine that with AI, it's then going to be things like, a place where they can go on VR to talk to you as your AI avatar, talk to the previous people who've come onto your podcast, and they could come on live and watch the podcast as if they're sitting in the room with loads of other people, and then that can turn into a big networking event. So there's some really interesting things that's coming up.
Wow. Yeah. This is
definitely. Or scary. I don't know. It's interesting or scary.
Both. Yeah, both. Well, in terms of business startup, okay, so somebody wants to start a business. They want to sell a widget. And by the way, I don't know what a widget is either. It's just an old terminology, right? Like,
Mhm.
so somebody asked one time, "What's a
App.
widget?" It's like, who knows, right?
Right.
You want to, you want to sell
It's
this
a thing that
ball.
does a thing. Yeah.
I got this ball on my desk that my wife gave me to squeeze, and so you want to sell this ball. So
Yeah.
you could actually use AI now to tell you exactly the steps to take this ball from manufacturing to end consumer, and do all of that up by AI. Which to me, one of the things that excites me about AI is that I think there's going to be so many businesses starting up with people that maybe don't even think they're business people. Maybe they've been an employee their whole life, but they go, "Hey, I make beautiful Christmas cookies, but I need a way to sell them because I'm not going to go get a commercial bakery and bake a bunch of them and eat them all and get diabetes. I'd rather have sell one box to a family at a time, for example." I don't know where I'm getting that from, but you know what I'm saying. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, how is this going to aid small business development around the world?
So the people who have actual skills like baking and art creation or something like that, those people that have spent their entire lives perfecting their art form, or are just really good at that, but not very good at the business or the marketing stuff. Instead of them going on YouTube like I used to have to and failing and messing up, which is you're supposed to do that in business. This and also not having to spend 20 grand on some guru's course or something. Instead of that, they can now use AI to, so say, for example, the cookie thing. Very soon that's coming out this year is the ability for ChatGPT to take a picture and for you to ask questions using your voice. You can take a bit. So actually you could do that now. So you can go on your phone, download ChatGPT app and sign up for the premium and take a picture of that cookie, open ChatGPT 4, send that to ChatGPT-4 and say, "What is this?" And then it will say it's a cookie with a Christmas character on it. And then you say, "Okay, so now you have to give the AI a character." So you say, "You are an expert in marketing and business, and I want you to help me create a marketing plan or marketing strategies for this cookie. Please use the internet to research what other people are doing and other competition, and they'll write me a basic marketing strategy." It'll write out the marketing strategy for you, and it'll be relatively basic. It wouldn't be anything too complicated. And then what you can do is, as it has something called a context window, which basically means 200,000 words it remembers from previous conversations, you can keep chatting to it. You can keep going back and going like, "Okay, I've done step 1. Can you expand on step 2?" And that will allow you to kind of allow that person to kind of figure out everything that used to take us forever, or like I said, you had to pay someone or going on some members course or something or something to get the information. Now the information is right there.
Amazing. So let's talk a little bit about what you're going to do with some of the video content of what we're doing here today.
Yeah, so this is what I call long form content. So it's filmed and it's got great audio. That's everything I need. I can use tools. So if you, I'm trying to think of the site. I'll have to send you a link, and maybe you can put it on the screen or something. But what I can do is basically upload this whole hour-long podcast and put it with the video and everything. I can put that up on YouTube and then leave it for a couple of weeks. And maybe you put it up on your YouTube as well. And then I can take the data inside of how long someone's watched for or when people are leaving to then take that, put it into an AI program, and it's going to cut in between our two different faces here. So it's going to turn this long form content into a short 60-second video. So if you said something really interesting, or I said something really interesting, I can cut this very long hour-long podcast into short 60-second bits. So then what I can do with that is I can obviously upload it to Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube, any of the other places that take short form video. And then what I would do is have that play, and then a little title that says, if you want to watch the full podcast or the full video, come to my YouTube channel or come here. So I'm pulling people away from the short form, fast people watching really quickly and scrolling and not really super paying attention, but I'm giving them a bit of value, then pulling them over to my long form content. And in my long form content, I'll have in the description call to actions like come and join the free Content Alchemists course. Right. So I'm using it. So it's a marketing strategy, but it's it's a way to just generate lots of content from one long bit of content.
Nice. So final question, how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah. So I think the easiest is powleads.com, or in pretty much anything apart from Twitter. I'm on as james.taylor.powleads. And I've got a link in the bio of all my stuff. If you want to go on the course, then it's powleads.com. And then at the top, it says free courses, and it's called the Content Alchemist.
Great. Well, James, this has been a pleasure, my friend, and continued great success. You've shared some real wisdom here, and I hope our listeners are going to capitalize on it, especially that free course. I mean, there's money to be made by taking free courses, folks. So, we've offered one on Joe Lublin's call on how to get free publicity recently, and now James on what he's sharing. So take advantage of this. This is another reason why you should continue to always listen to Leaving Nothing to Chance, because you don't know what the message is going to be. James, I'll give you the last word, my friend. Anything else you want to share?
No, that's it. Just thank you very much for having me on, John. It's extremely kind of you, and I've really enjoyed this.
Great. Well, hold on here. We'll do a little housekeeping, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much for being a guest today.
Cheers. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Leave Nothing to Chance. If you want to know more about what it takes to succeed in the network marketing space, join us again next week for another amazing episode. For additional resources and to connect with John Solleder, visit leavingnothingtochance.com. Don't forget to leave a review, and we'll see you next time.